What's happening, y'all? It's me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington. I'm here with my review for Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix. Now, if you have not seen this, I'd advise you to come on back because it will be spoilers. The most thing that I can say about this movie is that the massacre was the fucking film itself. This shit is abysmal. Listen, for those that don't know, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is based off some real shit that happened, I think in Indiana, actually. And like, you know, you had the original movie, you had the sequel, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which was like really wild when you had Leatherface get horny and freaky with chainsaw. Then you had 3, then you had the remakes and all this other shit. And so now we're back here. And whoever thought this was a good idea should have stopped at the idea. Because, first off, the theme of this movie, of the whole version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix, the theme of the entire movie is when gentrification goes wrong. The dialogue is so lazy and cheap that it tries to use every little clever quip and buzzword and key phrase in the current cultural lexicon, if you will. You get some influencers, legit influencers, try to go to a small town that was the home of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's abandoned, and they want to rehab the town and make it a real estate development. One of these influencers is a black dude. He's in the car with 3 white women. Okay, the black dude's played by Jacob Lattimore. For those who remember, Jacob Lattimore was a singer, had a few singles, but then he's made his transition into acting. He's been on a lot of things since then. This was one of those characters where when you saw him, and first they get pulled over by the police. Well, after they go and get, let me do this right. They stop at a gas station first, right? And there's a thing on the TV about the Chainsaw Massacre, and then there's a picture of Leatherface because he's still wanted, and the 2 girls, they see, you know what I'm saying, they buy some stuff, and then they come out to get gas in the car, and there's a dude, he's a Texan, got his gun on his pistol, and he's filling up his truck, and they're trying to talk, what type of man needs a gun? I'm like, oh, we're doing all these things. Listen, Texas is one of those Second Amendment right to bear arms states. People gonna wear their guns out this and the third, but it's like you're just gonna drill this shit in that you're trying to shoot on somebody, and by shoot on somebody, I mean in wrestling terms, you're trying to down them and dog them. All right, bro, got a gun on his hip. All right, cool. So he drives in front of him in the car, and steps on the throttle and makes the smoke come out the exhaust fumes. Then they get pulled over by the police. It's a black dude in the car with 3 white women. And 2 cops are like, so you're the cook or whatever, whoever the fuck he is on whatever influential app. And he's like, no, I'm the chef. And he's like, well, listen, look, you come into our town. Some of us were born and raised here. Can you respect that? Okay? So seeing that, I was like, this nigga's dying. Okay, this is like 10, 15 minutes in. I was like, he's not gonna make it. It's just, first of all, there's horror movie 101. Niggas typically don't make it. And I know some people will bring up movies like, I think LL Cool J made it in Deep Blue Sea, if I'm not mistaken. I know Busta Rhymes made it in Halloween H2O, even though I personally wish Busta Rhymes would have died just for the line, trick or treat, motherfucker. I really wish Michael would have cut his head off. Like, yo, if you told me Busta Rhymes died at the end of that movie, I'd have been perfectly okay. But it's typically how it goes. They get to the town, you know what I'm saying? They get to the town, they trying to see where they're supposed to be, a certain house, whatever. They go in the house. This older lady is there, and they're like, yo, you supposed to be gone. And she like, nah, this old lady on oxygen and everything. She like, no, you ain't supposed to be. She's like, nah, I'm cool. I straightened all my shit out with the bank. They was like, no, you didn't. You got to go. And her son comes up at the top. This used to be an orphanage, whatever. Her son comes to the top of the stairs, this big hulking motherfucker that you like, oh, this nigga's Leatherface, without it being Leatherface yet. This nigga's just standing at the top of the stairs. He's just there. Fucking Confederate flag hanging. They trying to take it down. They got to call the maintenance dude. The maintenance dude is the dude they was talking shit about with the gun. Fast forward, you know what I'm saying? One of the white girls tried to confront the older white lady that was living in the home, and she was like, yo, everything is settled. And they're like, you don't have a deed and all this shit. They're going back and forth. Caused the older white lady to have a heart attack. So while that happens, the hulking dude, who's her son, who isn't Leatherface as of yet, takes her, and they don't have an ambulance because the cops from earlier are like the only fucking cops. Put her in the back of the van with some oxygen, trying to get her to the thing. And one of the influencers that was the black dude's girl was like, I'm gonna go with him. Bitch, why? Why do you need to go with them? Okay, it made no sense. She sits in the front with the cop, and one of the other cops sit in the back with the Leatherface dude and his mama and all this. Say they driving, right? Dude's mama literally says, be the good boy I always told you to be. Stay out of my room, and then dies, right? Now all of a sudden you see Leatherface just, he almost started making noise. So the cop tries in the back, reaches out. Man, I'm so sorry. This nigga grabs his arm, cracks the bone out, makes the bone protrude, starts stabbing the fuck out of him, and do this, making noise and dying. I make all these sounds to ask the question, why in the fuck? The other cop is driving the van, right? It's a regular van. It's not an ambulance. It's a goddamn van people use to deliver 1-800-Flowers. So why, and you can have a rear view mirror, you can see in the back of the van. Why in the fuck is the cop driving the van, right? And when he hears the noise, he is still driving and says, hey, what's going on back there? Nigga, death. Death is going on, okay? You hear something break. You know what the sound of a bone breaking and protruding through skin sounds like, okay? You know what someone being stabbed and gurgling on their own blood sounds like. Why are you still just driving? Slam on the brakes. The fuck? It gets worse. So the cop, after he's dying, he tries to shoot Leatherface. And of course, as always happens, shoots the cop who's driving. He crashes into a cornfield, right? Cop's dying. The other chick, she kind of passes out for a second. She wakes up, sees the Leatherface, the guy in the back, out the back now. He in the middle of the cornfield, cutting his mama's face off. This nigga's cutting his mama's face off, puts it against the sun, and then puts it on him. And that's how we officially get Leatherface. This motherfucker goes around, sees the cop. The cop is still trying to move because he's been shot, but for some reason he's still alive a little bit. Not after Leatherface bashes his fucking face in. Old girl just drops and tries to play dead. Bitch, he can see you breathe, but whatever. I digress. This nigga goes back home. One of the influencer girls that made the older lady had a heart attack, right? She going through her paperwork, found out the lady did have the deed to the house. Like, oh shit, we didn't kill this bitch. This nigga Leatherface come back in, right? Go back upstairs. He slamming shit. This nigga grabs a sledgehammer and is breaking in the wall. And while it's breaking in the wall, I think it's in mama's room, gets the chainsaw out the fucking wall. So this nigga's been Leatherface the whole time. This has been the nigga they looking for. They just didn't know, oh, this massive ass nigga, this happened to be another massive ass dude walking around here that looks like he's disturbed. But that's what fuck gets it. The dude with the gun earlier comes in, right? And is trying to figure out what's going on because he hears all the noise and shit, I guess. He hears something. I can't remember completely. And old girl is hiding under the bed now. She turns the mirror. She kicks the mirror gently to turn to show him Leatherface behind the door. This nigga Leatherface beats his ass, breaks his leg in. He's trying to tussle with Leatherface, who is about a foot bigger than him, breaks a window that has bars on it, and Leatherface stabs this nigga against the glass, and he falls out. He starts to bleed to death. Dude's just choking. Leatherface then takes his sledgehammer and bashes his goddamn skull in. Okay, so we're going to get... So they make it seem automatically that every single death is going to be super gory, which for me is I'm a horror fan. I don't mind gore. I don't. I've watched the Saw movies. I've watched many other gory films. I watched 80s horror when it was a level of gore that was done a certain way. But I'll just keep it a buck with y'all. There is a time when certain gore gets gratuitous for no reason. But whatever. The rest of the influencers come into town to catch up with them and people from the bank on the bus, right? They come in this old 1954 segregation still was a thing bus, right? They come on the bus, they get there, they start trying to party and celebrate. They got setting up tents and shit like this. It starts to rain, everybody got to go on the bus. right after all the shit happens. This is all like either right before all the shit happens with dude getting his shit bashed in. So Leatherface now got his chainsaw revved up and shit and everything. Shit been sitting in the wall for God knows how long. Bro, this nigga Leatherface, he sees the bus about to drive off, right? The bus about to drive off because one of the black chick that works at the bank, and I was like, oh, it's two black people. She gone too. The black chick that works at the bank, because the black dude, that's what happened. The black dude, he stayed in the town and he came in to see what was going on with old girl, and Leatherface came back and hit this nigga in the face with a hatchet, cut all this shit up. I was like, well, he dead 36 minutes in. I forgot to mention that part because he comes walking outside. This nigga still ain't dead. For some reason, he's still just stumbling. Nobody died. Most people just didn't die right away, okay? It was just oh no, you got to have some moments before you die. So dude comes stumbling back out looking like a zombie. That's what possessed dude to go in the house. The dude that got his shit bashed in, right? So black girl sees it. She's just like, backs up on the bus, tells the bus driver, just drive, get us the fuck out of here. The bus driver drives, right? And then Leatherface, I guess he slashed the tires with the chainsaw, whatever, the bus stops. So the people in the back, they partying, drinking everything. Leatherface, the bus driver opens the door, was like, yo, what the fuck is happening? Nigga, don't go outside. Because why? Death, ladies and gentlemen, death. Dude goes outside. Next thing you know, the black girl looking, this nigga's head comes back on the steps. She just walks backwards like Homer Simpson in the bushes in that meme, through the curtain to the back where they having the party. Everybody looking at her like, what the fuck? Guess who comes walking through the curtain? Not running, not charging, nothing. Walking. Leatherface with chainsaw in hand. This nigga's got blood over him, a skin mask, and a chainsaw. Everybody on that bus that is in party mode, guess what they do? Like in typical influencer fashion, pull out the goddamn phone. Everybody starts recording. This was the part where I knew I thought I was officially done with all this shit, okay? Leatherface is standing there in front of all of them. All got their phones. This one guy in the front, this Asian guy, literally says, and I quote, while he is live streaming, quote, try something and you're canceled, bro. Nigga, what? This man has a skin mask on his face. It is blood all over, and he has a chainsaw, and you think he is concerned with being canceled? Cancel this nigga's life, which is exactly what Leatherface does. People die on the bus. My boy J.R. Banks said it best. Said Leatherface came on the bus like Tyrese in the Coca-Cola commercials. So the nigga, la, 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 always cut a cola. All this happens, right? Everything's going on. It's so bad. The one of the women who was the original survivor of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, she's now working. She used to be a deputy. Now, they had to recast the role because the original actress died. She finds out that Leatherface is back. She comes in, charged, ready to go. Shoots this nigga at one point with a shotgun. Has a standoff with this nigga. Shotgun versus chainsaw. At one point, Leatherface just realized and got her ass with the chainsaw in the gut. Raised her up like this. Like Petey Pablo in North Carolina. Come on and raise up. Just had her like twist around the head like a helicopter with the chainsaw on. And then threw her ass in the trash bags, right? You like, she should be dead. No, she's not. Because 7 minutes later, she makes a save with a shotgun blast. Now, of course, fast forward, we get towards the end with the two other girls, them two main girls. One who, by the way, was very traumatized because she had been in a school shooting, so she doesn't like guns, which is why when she saw the guy in the first, the opening scene, the dude that said by the truck that had a gun, she was shook off of that. And then when they see he's the janitor and fixing the car, he is a semi-automatic rifle weapon or whatever, I can't remember, excuse me. And she's like, oh, I'm so traumatized. She tries to use the gun. Gun's not loaded. All this shit, trying to fight off Leatherface. The girls end up, quote unquote, defeating Leatherface because, of course, one of the girls, the one that killed his mama, she tried to apologize. He wasn't giving a fuck, but she picked up his chainsaw. Of course, you go at him, charge him. She uppercuts the snake in the face with a chainsaw after he took several shotgun blasts, gunshots, and knife wounds, and he falls back and falls in the water and he, quote unquote, dies. We all know better. Because the two girls, they end up leaving after they take old girl Sally, who was the survivor chick who ended up dying and coming back and then dying, took a hat, and then they saw themselves driving out. Leatherface grabs this bitch out the car, decapitates her in the middle of the street in broad daylight, like a day has passed, while old girl just standing up in the car screaming while the car just drifts off. Bitch, drive. Your sister's dead. Go. I have so many problems with just how terrible this movie is. Like I said, the writing is so lazy. And I know a lot of people are like, yo, if you think you can do better, do better. Like, I'm not a feature writer as of yet, but I'm writing pilots and I'm writing sitcoms and dramas and shit like that and whatever. This was just something to get put out real quick, it seems like. Let's write this, cast this, shoot this, edit this, present it. The dude who plays Leatherface is menacing because, again, the original guy who played him was passed away, so they recast him. There are parts from Leatherface, of course, he is charging at niggas with the chainsaw. Nah, bro. It's raining outside, too, matter of fact, in this town at that point. This nigga couldn't just slip. God couldn't be on nobody's side. There's a lot of things that don't make sense to me. Leatherface is evil for what he does, right? Leatherface has never been evil because he is an evil entity. He is not supernatural. So when I see characters that take numerous gunshots, shotgun blasts, up close, an uppercut to the face from a chainsaw and all this, and you're telling me they're still alive and evil never dies and all that shit, no, that nigga should have been gone. It's just certain things that don't add up. Again, yes, is it a movie? Yes. But it just didn't make no sense. A whole bus of influence. Everybody just dead. Like, if you come to this town, you just dead and don't nobody remember. And they also made it at one point to make sure that you knew earlier that it barely gets spotty cell phone reception. Now, somehow the bus got it because they were able to live stream. And you see comments on live stream, people going, is this real? I just don't know. Look, a lot of us are fans of various IPs, intellectual properties, and we like to see them be brought back and given new life and a resurgence and given an attempt. And other times we just wish things would be left the hell alone. And I think in this situation, that should have been left alone. Because at the end of the movie, there's a post-credit scene where Leatherface goes to the house where the original massacres happened. Of course he does. It was great to hear John Larroquette do the narration at the beginning of the movie because he did it in the beginning of the original and in the remake. Fair. But overall, this is terrible. And I know some people are like, did you give it a shot? Yes, I didn't. I didn't watch the trailer of this. I didn't watch the trailer. I was just like, yo, I want to see this. I've had my disappointments with some of the other iterations in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre lore, if you will. But again, something different. I was like, oh, maybe it's going to go a new direction and something that's going to be more watchable or whatever. And I was just like, this happened and I am so mad. But those are my thoughts on it. I want to know if you saw it, your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, keep the discourse civil. We are just talking about movies. It is not going to change nobody's life one way or another, how our opinions are, whether it be my opinion, your opinion, anyone watching, all of that. So let's just have a fun conversation in the chat below. All right, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. J Washington, MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington. Check out the Mad Titan podcast, everywhere you get your podcasts from. I get you caught up on all the things happening in the Marvel and DC live action cinematic universes. It's Barbershop Talk for Nerds. Come on in the convo and Blurs in the Hood every Tuesday and Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. With my co-host Winston A. Marshall. We are on YouTube and Twitch. YouTube.com/blurdsinthehood. Twitch.tv/blurdsinthehood. That's BLERDS, the letter NTHEHOOD. For the month of February, we're doing our full episodes exclusively on Twitch. So this is probably like the last week we're doing it on Twitch. And then we'll go back to YouTube. We'll figure it out, whatever. But the clips of the show are available on the YouTube channel from all the stories in which we talk about of the day. I have my supervillain t-shirts. You can get those and all that. Find out more. I will holler at y'all later. Please, if you're here for the first time, like, subscribe, click on the notification bell, man. Share this video, all that good shit. Do that. Take care. I'm out. Bye.